I never get sick. I do not get the flu. I mean, I'm a half full guy. I get up, my feet hit the floor in the morning, and I am ready to go.
He's the coach of every sport. He coaches our kids. He coaches softball at the high school. He coaches, football, basketball, baseball for our son. He is extremely athletic, involved in everything like that, and then came home that night and had a horrible, horrible headache. Horrible.
We had decided to put some wood flooring down, and we had this white tile, and so I'd come home in the evening and I'd take up a little more tile, and when you do that, there's dust, and so I got a really bad headache, and honestly, we just thought it was because sinuses getting dust in there, but as the evening as it progressed, I think the headache got worse. I can honestly tell you guys I've never, ever been in that kind of pain. I became very nauseous, couldn't keep my food down. I think I started to become less and less coherent.
And Matt really doesn't get sick. He doesn't complain a lot. So I called, it was late, it was after 11, our kids were both in bed. I called my brother and said, look, I need to take him to the hospital. Will you come over and sit with the kids? I thought it was going to be run him to the hospital, get some better medicine for the sinus problems, come home. And they started asking me a lot of questions, over and over, same questions about cancer and all of this and all that. And by this point, it was 2:45 in the morning. And they couldn't wake Matt up. They were trying to wake him up to talk to him. And finally the guy said, just kind of casually, he said, oh, well, we just wondered because we found a tumor. I thought, they're probably wrong. That was my first thought. They're probably wrong because they always read these things wrong. That's what I thought. And turned out they weren't. The tumor was actually the size of my fist, They told me. So this big, right there. The following morning at 8 a.m., they did surgery. He had a 9-inch scar there on the side of his head, 27 staples in his head.
5.5 hours.
And but they did a good job. They call it debulking, where they try to get as much of the tumor out as they can. And that was just 3 months ago. Just today he finished radiation.
7 weeks, 36 treatments of radiation.
And what's the next step?
I have to wait 3 to 4 weeks, and then we'll go back to Houston and they'll do a series of tests, including an MRI, to see how effective the radiation treatment was.
We surrounded ourselves with positive people. We've surrounded ourselves with doctors who have hope, who didn't just say, you're done, sorry.
The day they let me out of the hospital, I went and watched my son's football game. Now, I wasn't real strong at the time, so they pushed me out there in a wheelchair. But that week, a bunch of the boys that I've been together for so long, there was a get-together, and I got a phone call and said, hey, Matt, could you come up here?
Can you be here at 6 o'clock?
Could you be here at 6 o'clock? And so we said, sure. And I showed up, and all of these boys, they stood up and they walked up to this podium and they looked out at all the people and they said, Mr. Allen's been coaching us for a long time and really important to us. And so to show our support, we're changing our team name to Sheer Solidarity, because they had shaved my head bald. And they went into the cafeteria and every one of those boys shaved their head bald.
20 of them. 12-year-old boys.
And then their dad started shaving their head, and their brother started shaving their head. And when I went stood up to the school to visit later that week, I'm looking out and here's all these bald-headed boys. And so you talk about a community. These are friends of ours. And I'd like to think that when I was 12, I would have had the courage to shave my head bald in support of somebody. And that just shows you the kind of support that's out there. And you want to know what makes you stay positive? Is knowing you have friends and family like that.